and this is our podcast, Diabetically Speaking with SmartMove360, where we are talking about diabetes, life with diabetes, and we discussing all different parts of it. Let's go. Let me start the video. Hello again. This is Irina Struina. It's Thursday, 4 p.m., and we are starting our podcast. We are talking about diabetes every week on Thursdays, and I'm inviting people who are experts in their field. They're working with people with type 2 diabetes on a regular basis, and they have experience on helping them and leading them through the difficult times. And today I have a very special guest, Zoe Nzimande. She is registered dietitian. She is diabetic educator. So welcome, Zoe.
Hello, Irina and everybody. It's wonderful to be here today. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And well, I already introduced you and already gave away all the key points about the reasons why I wanted you to be on this podcast. But I also would like you to give us your side of the story, why you are interested and passionate about helping people with diabetes.
Of course, yes. So I think that helping people has always been something I've been passionate about. It wasn't my first choice to go and become a dietitian, but when I was younger, I had a family member who was diagnosed with diabetes, and I wanted to be able to help people who were having challenges with what I call nutrition treatable issues. I love food. I went to school for cooking and baking, and then found out that I could be a registered dietitian and combine both of my loves. And that is how I ended up becoming a registered dietitian and diabetes educator.
Perfect. Thank you. And thank you for reminding me. For though this is the first time actually, I didn't talk about it before on our podcast, but I am working on putting together a team of chefs, of people who are cooking for this is their passion or their profession. And they are going to have the whole week of different shows that they will be showing how to cook, what to cook, and why to cook diabetically friendly dishes. And I already got an agreement from Zoe that she will be one of those people. It will be a weekly 1 hour show, and as soon as I am ready to post about it, I will definitely make posts in our Facebook group so people will have a chance to get access to that information, to those videos. Well, and Zoe, you just started the way how I wanted to talk about anyways. You said that you was helping someone in your family who was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. And in our group, Diabetes 101 for Beginners, I very often see those posts that people are trying to help their loved ones. It could be a spouse, it could be a child, could be a parent, could be an aunt, could be a friend, it could be the business partner or life partner. And they just don't know what they can do to make life for those people easier. And what would you say? Why, in managing diabetes, it is important to have a support system, and in this case, to have a care, well, maybe not necessarily caregiver, but somebody who is on your side. Why it is important?
Yeah, that is a great question. So, I think for many people, a new diagnosis can be a little bit concerning. And in any time in life where we are having big changes, it always helps to know that you have people you can lean on and depend on,
Hmm.
because type 2 diabetes is a lifelong condition. No one expects you to manage it all by yourself for the rest of your life. It is a very manageable issue, and the more support you have, the easier it can be, especially if you share responsibilities of cooking and food shopping, or um, already exercising with someone. Including them in your treatment plan can make it easier for everyone to be supportive of each other.
Definitely. Yes. Actually, you're correct. Um, it's not that nobody is expecting you to do it all on your own, but it's always much easier to
Yes.
do it together. I always say that diabetes is a team sport. And yes, there are some individual sports like, say, tennis, right? But even with tennis, tennis players have their doctors, they have their masseuse therapists, they have their coaches who take care of their physical condition, they have their dietitians who create a diet plan for them so they will be in the best shape for the important event. So even uh, healthy, we will say, people, they still need support system. And of course, when there is such a big challenge, as you mentioned, this is lifelong challenge, lifelong journey, and to have a partner to travel that journey, I think it makes life a little bit easier. Do you think?
Yes, 100%. And I'm glad that you mentioned people outside of friends and family, your doctor's care team, anyone in your life who is helping you support your health is considered your care team. So never feel that you are bothering them. Reach out to your doctors, reach out to those friends to get that support you need, because I'm sure every time you've maybe been a little bit worried about reaching out and you finally do, that person usually comes back and says, I wish you reached out sooner. So just know that they are always on your side.
Definitely, yes. And so often I see in our group those comments, people are saying, I am trying to do it quietly. I don't want my family to know. And I personally think this is maybe even dangerous, because if anything happens to you, and I'm not talking about diabetic coma, I'm talking about even the broken arm, or something like that, doctors, 911 team, they do need to know that you have this condition, so they will not accidentally give you the wrong treatment. And if, say, you're unconscious and your partner's spouse, child called this 911, and you don't have bracelet or necklace or anything indicating that you have this condition, uh, how the medical team will know that you diabetic, that they could not give you uh, specific medication, or maybe all they need to do to give you a little bit of orange juice or something that will bring you back. So it's very important, in my opinion. Did you hear those stories when people were hiding, and how challenging it was for them to be on their own?
Yeah, and I think that's, part of the story that isn't talked about very much. I think there's a lot of stigma behind diabetes, and a lot of people don't feel that they can share this diagnosis with the people in their family, or their, what I like to call, tribe, the people that are
Mhm.
walking alongside of you through life. And I think the reality of it is that majority of those people that you keep close would feel so blessed that you trusted them with that information and would do what they could to help you. And I think they would more feel bad if they found out afterwards and felt that you couldn't come to them, because it really does take a village. Just taking care of ourselves on a regular basis is a job, and then taking care of ourselves with a chronic illness is kind of like a second job, and we can't do everything alone. And like Irina mentioned, if there is some sort of emergency because life happens, the more information that your care team knows up front, the quicker they are able to help you.
Definitely, definitely. So we spoke. Okay, let's start from another end. I to just to illustrate what you just said about the fact that support people, your people who close to you, actually do feel, um, do appreciate you sharing with them this challenge that you have. Because say I have very close friends, and when I used to be a cooking coach, and when I shared with them the information that I learned in my training, um, my girlfriend, she just literally burst into tears, and she was like, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry, my family. I was not aware that what I'm doing is actually hurting your health, because I did not know. uh, she didn't know the facts that apparently doctor didn't share, and even if they did share with her husband, for example, he didn't feel that this is important, because he sees she's in the kitchen, she's trying her best to buy the freshest produce, to cook the meals, but apparently some of the products react different with different cooking styles, and she didn't know. Uh, if we know that whatever I'm doing, if I know that, uh, say, corn is not a good product choice for my family member, I would not buy it. Even I love corn, I will eat it in a restaurant, I will eat it somewhere else. I just will not do it in the house. And that's what sometimes people who've got diagnosis, they feel ashamed that they bring a burden to their family, and now their family has to suffer because of them, and they try to create a separate story. But the relationships should be honest. I think the made up stories will eventually find their end, and who knows how your other partner will react. They may get upset that you for so many years was struggling and didn't share the struggle because they could help.
Yes, I can imagine how both sides can have certain feelings. And I think at the end of the day, this is why it's so important to create that plan from the beginning and having that conversation from the beginning. Now, I won't say that you need to tell everybody in your life that
Yes,
first
no,
day. Right,
absolutely.
but partners or children, those people that are with you day in and day out, it benefits them to know so that they're able to support you, how it works for the both of you. Because, of course, we do have to think of the caregiver side as well. But that's why conversations like these to figure out who can help with what are so important. And that way, nobody feels left out or uncared for in the long run.
Definitely. So, can you give us some examples how people in support team, say family member maybe, or maybe close friends, can contribute to managing someone's diagnosis of type 2 diabetes?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think that really varies for everyone. It really depends on what that person living with diabetes needs. And so I would say the first thing you can do is ask, what do you need from me, or what can I do to help? They
Mhm.
might say, I need help with making sure I take my medication on time, or I want to make sure that when you go food shopping, you're able to know what products are better for me to have and which I should have less of, or
Mhm.
I might need some assistance getting to my doctor's appointment. So there are a wide range of ways that people can help, and it doesn't have to be a physical help as well. Sometimes people just need somebody to talk to and go over what's been working, what's been challenging, and have that lending ear. And so that's another way that family, friends can be sort of a support team for you.
Yes, good ideas. Yeah, I actually definitely, as caregiver myself. I can relate to it because um, sometimes it's kind of assumed that the person who may need help will ask for help.
Right.
And at the same time, the person who needs help assumes that this is my fault and I cannot burden my other people to suffer from what I caused to myself. And here is this big gap opens up that people lose communication because somebody's stigma and somebody's just lack of knowledge. So asking, having a conversation is a great idea. And I think even talking with children, right? When you talk to children, they could help too, right?
Of course, yes. So I know, of course, we always want to try to protect our children and shield them. But, having that conversation with them earlier on will help prepare them for if anything were to happen. If you had a low blood sugar level, or, of course, we don't want this, but had to go to the emergency room, it won't be a shock for them in that moment if you have had that conversation and you just say, this is something new. It just means my blood sugar is a little high. If I ask you to go get me some juice, this is why. And you can choose how much you share, but at least having them clued into what might happen can really help reduce that stress and shock in the moment on both sides, because while you're going through an event, won't want to scare them and might be afraid to ask, which can then lead to more complications than if you felt more comfortable asking them for that help in the first place.
Yeah, so with that, I actually, this all, we will talk about it a little bit more because
Yes.
my last question usually is, what is one thing caregivers need to know before, when they are helping someone to manage diabetes? And I think just one thing is to have a conversation, to ask for help. And as my husband used to say, help is good when it's given, when it's needed, and in the form that it was asked for. So I
Yes.
would like to help. How can I help? And if person said, I'm good, just sit, let me hold your hand because I'm having my anxiety moment and I need someone just to sit to me. Don't try to bring that person a glass of water. Just sit and hold the hand. That's the one, right? So uh, what other ideas that you can suggest to people? What those things that they need to know?
Yes, I think that is a great way to put it, where when we are helping, we want to make sure that the help that is received is the help that was needed or asked for. And I think that's something that can be a little bit difficult, to feel that you are giving in a way that may not be natural to you. And so I would say one of the most important things for people of support, caregivers, can do is make sure that they are taken care of as well. Know when to take your breaks. Make sure that you stay up with your health and do what you need to do to still feel whole at the end of the day. Because, like I mentioned, it can feel like another job to be a support person for someone else. And not saying that you wouldn't want to be that support person, but if you forget to take care of yourself, you might end up feeling like this is more of a burden. So I would say taking care of yourself is the best thing that you can do to help that other person, and being open with them. If you're having a bad day, say, I know I usually do X, Y, or Z for you right now, but I really need a break. Can we postpone it to a later time? And, make sure that you are sharing your needs as well.
Wow, what a wonderful reminder. This is something that definitely a lot of caregivers forgetting about. They are so dedicate themselves to helping their loved ones that they forget about their own health and very often suffer from those consequences and those depressions and um they don't eat enough, they don't sleep enough, they don't exercise at all, which is not very, very helpful Thank you for that reminder.
Of
Well,
course.
I wanted to just as an example to say, I'm helping my mother. She is 91 years old, and when I come to visit to her place, she lives by herself. So it's not that she's in desperate permanent need, but when I come to visit her, I often see this family outside of this apartment building, and there the man in a wheelchair, sometimes his wife is walking around, sometimes his son, but always a caregiver. And that lady, she's constantly moving. She is dancing around this man. She is doing exercises. She is walking forward and backward. She is constantly moving. And I'm thinking, this is a good caregiver. She is right there for him. She is ready to help whatever help is needed. But at the same time, she is not letting her body somehow to be not able, so she can help this wheelchair. She's tiny lady, but she can help that man in a wheelchair to do what is needed.
Yes, I think that's a perfect example of how taking care of yourself allows you to take care of someone else. I always say you can't pour from an empty cup, so make sure that each day you find ways to fill your cup so that you're able to give what's needed to that person in your life.
Yes, perfect, perfect. Thank you, Zoe. This was, I think we covered today a very good part that I not always we get into that, and this is important. So I appreciate very much you sharing your experience, opinion, and knowledge on this topic, because as we mentioned already multiple times, help is needed, team is needed, but everybody in the team is equal. So everyone in the team needs care. And it's self care, and somebody else's just listen to you. It's a good suggestion. I wanted to ask you this question. When someone, after listening to our podcast, will decide that they want to reach out to you and speak with you or learn more about you, how they can find you? What is the best way to find you?
Great question. So I have two main places. My website, which is www.fearnotfoodnc.com. And if you're active on social media, my Instagram handle is at fearnotfoodnc. I am more than happy to have a chat with you, so please don't hesitate to reach out.
Absolutely. Thank you, Zoe. Well, and I need to, before we finish today, I also need to make a few announcements for the group. The important thing I wanted everybody to know, this is the podcast that we go live every week at 4 p.m. on Thursdays. 4 p.m. Eastern time. But then this recording is staying in our Facebook group, Diabetes 101 for Beginners. So if you accidentally or not accidentally, you just cannot be here and listen to us live, you can always go to the Facebook group and find those recordings. We also have a YouTube where you could listen to that and to other podcasts that we had in the past. And I still need to put more episodes in our Spotify channel as well. And also, how our weeks, I wanted to remind you that our week goes like this. On Mondays, we have Motivational Mondays with Monica Henderson. On Tuesday, we have Telenurse Tuesdays. This is where our registered nurses go and answer your questions. When you see this banner, you need to post your questions under the banner, and our nurses will, at 7 p.m. Eastern, will go over the questions and answer them. Every other Wednesday, we have support group meetings where we invite experts like Zoe and others to come meet with our group members and help them to answer their questions, maybe work with them a little bit, trying to figure out what will work for them in their individual situations. On Thursdays, of course, we have our podcast. We just spoke about it, 4 p.m. Eastern. And on Friday, we have our Fitness Fridays with Trevor Brown. Trevor goes almost every Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, and he talks about different fitness ideas. He shows exercises, he shows different varieties, so people with different level of flexibility and strength can make adjustments. And he is also a nutrition coach, so he is talking a little bit about nutrition as well. We are on the last stage, let's say. Very soon we will have our next 13th Diabetic Healthcare Expo. It will be on April 27th, Saturday, last Saturday of the month. We go live from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and our experts, the ones who were on our podcast, like Zoe and many others, will be sharing their again knowledge with people in our Facebook group. We may call it Diabetes 101 crash course. In 6 hours, you will have a lot of information that is important to know. And what else important on every event that we have, we would not be able to create them and host them if not for our organizations that sponsor and support SmartMove360 and Diabetically Speaking with SmartMove360. And these are the companies Mink Life Motivation, On Balance Entertainment, Life Based Solutions, and Empower People That Care. These are companies that came together and helping me with many different ideas, suggestions, directions. So I wanted to just everyone to know our heroes. And with that, I wanted to say again, Zoe, thank you very much for finding this time to meet with me. I know your day is busy, but you was able to come over, share your information, talk with us, and I hope, well, I don't hope, I know I will see you real soon. Thank
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Well, great. And we talk to all of you next Thursday.